pledge I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As required by Montana law, members of the community are given an opportunity to make brief comments to the board on any matters not included in the agenda. Individuals wishing to be heard shall first be recognized by the chairperson. Individuals, after identifying themselves, will proceed to make brief comments. The board would like to remind everyone that to avoid violations of individual rights of privacy, a member of the public wishing to address the board will not be allowed to make comments about any student, staff member, or member of the general public. No action may be taken on any matter discussed during the public comment portion of the meeting until such time as the matter is specifically noticed on an agenda and the public has been allowed the opportunity to comment. Are there any public comments? Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Jordan Crown. I'm one of the board members of Belgrade Baseball. We got Andrew Schaefer, Mike Bell, and Joel's here too. So I'm just coming up to let you guys know that for the land transfer, not let you know, or like let y'all know that we have some things we'd like to do field improvements for all the fields, specifically the Babe Ruth fields. Just to make them better for everybody. Excuse me, I've been coming off a sore throat or something. Just to make them better for everybody to play on. We have a list of improvements that we want to get put together with our board, and then bring a proposal back to you all to show you like, hey, these are some things that we want to make these fields better for not just the BYB community, but also would help out the high school ball players that play over there, because we're not just about BYB, we're a feeder program for the high school. I feel like that's how I feel, to make it better for them too, because I know they use them as well. So I think next month we'll come back with the list of things that hopefully we can try and get around and get done. That's all. Anything else? Thank you.
Would that be getting on an agenda so we can do more discussion items, maybe be able to before?
Yeah, we can probably, maybe we should schedule a meeting ahead of time. Do that, and then we can get ready for if there's board action that needs to be taken.
Prior to the next board meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so you and I can get in touch and go.
Okay, well, that'll be like shooting me now.
Perfect, yeah, thanks.
Would this be something that maybe should get possibly if they wanted to present in our work session here in 2 weeks? They had any suggestions, can we throw that on there?
Yeah, we'll see, and first I'll meet with them.
Yeah.
And then we can know where to go from there, so.
Okay. We have our,
Thank you for being here.
yeah, thanks for coming on. Superintendent report.
All right, we're getting ready, it's right around the corner, the new school year. We have a long list of facility updates and maintenance projects that have been completed this summer. They're all listed in the board book, and so we welcome you to take a look at that, including bathroom updates in the middle school that were much needed and very much appreciated. New teacher orientation will be held over 2 days. We've increased that from 1 day to give our new staff time to look at the curriculum that they're going to be teaching and really get ready for their students. So we're excited about that. It's on August 14th and 15th. Our teaching staff all return on August 21st. And they have 4 days of professional development, building level meetings, and time to get ready for their students. The rest of the staff, besides the teachers, join the teachers on August 25th and 26th to get ready for the start of school. And the first day for students in 1st grade through 12th grade is Wednesday, August 27th. And our kindergartners will start August 28th. We are completing our move out of the Heck building. They're gonna start renovations next week, so this is our deadline. So We're having a little hide and seek game tomorrow for some of our staff. We're hiding like candy bars and things in cabinets and drawers. And so everybody has to go clean everything out. And if you find a surprise, you get to keep it. And so we're hoping that's a fun way to totally get everything out of the building. And obviously we have been working on moving the people who were staffed over there into this building, and these guys have done a great job of making this a inviting, happy workspace, so I appreciate their hard work with that.
Okay. Board report, does anybody have anything to report?
I had a question for Dee Dee.
Yes.
How much longer are we gonna be in here?
In here,
Or
so-
it's terrible for them to hear us?
I know, we have to talk really loud, we know, make sure everybody can hear. The city had planned to move their meetings out of across the street, City Hall, this month. But their microphones weren't working in the new library, and so they're back ordered, and so we're hoping it'll probably be September before we move it.
Thank you.
I want to give an update to the other board members. Rocky and I have met with Dee Dee and started the evaluation process. We've got our notes on it and are starting to get that put together to where we can then submit that to the lawyers, have them review that process. I've got a rough draft built, kind of. So we'll have that, and then you can all see it, and we can make any adjustments needed before we have an official evaluation process set into place. We haven't had one of those before. Third, this is in regards to the superintendent
Yeah.
and the clerk.
Yep, that's the, I figured that too.
Okay. Principals are not here tonight. They're all getting ready for back to school. But in Assembly, we do have information listed for both all three of the elementaries, the middle school and the high school. Frank?
That may know, or Dee Dee may know, where our high school schedules available for the students yet? Not to my knowledge. Okay.
Think none. I think they made a post about that.
All I know is my kid said they were available and he's off and missing something, so I thought I'd ask.
I think I said, I asked that question today too and did not get the answer yet, so. I'll let you
Okay.
know.
Facilities, is Leroy gonna present tonight, anything?
You guys want me to?
I always like to see your face.
Oh, great. Let me stand up there so you can see closer.
Yeah, cause you be closer to the.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, I'm old now.
What?
What?
All right, well, I guess I'll present. Before you have a bulleted list of things that we did this summer, it's not every single thing, but that's quite a list. You guys have questions on any of that stuff?
When's the track scheduled to be finished if they're starting here?
If all goes well, 2 weeks after they start.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's the first one.
2 to 3. We may bleed into a football game. I was gonna meet a construction kickoff meeting with Toby, so he has all the information necessary. These guys said that they can build us a bridge to get over the track, so nobody's walking back. But yeah, they were made aware also of these dates. And of course, this isn't the first time they've had to work around a school schedule.
What's the wayfinding? Painted.
Signage.
Oh, just signage, okay. Fancy word.
I didn't know either.
How are the playgrounds? Like, is there, is there like a time frame that you typically say, okay, this playground, we have to consider for, additional repair replacement? Or is it just that, since that repair, and inspection just happens yearly, it kind of, remains maintained?
Yeah, you could have a 100-year-old program, a 100-year-old playground. And as long as everything is within compliance, it's still fine.
So I do notice our playgrounds, Mike, we go to a lot of playgrounds are really well maintained, at our grade school. And so you guys are doing a great job.
Great, yes. From my perspective, it could be better, but also very picky. Anyone else? Anything? I would highly recommend that you guys at some point go walk through the middle school and see those bathrooms.
And I-
Oh, man.
Seen the construction also.
I've
Seen the dumpsters.
Yeah.
And the roof repair.
I've got some before pictures. So, once it's all done, I'll bring it to a board meeting. I'll show
I'll
you
have it
guys.
to work.
Yeah, or something.
We'll schedule a time for you guys now.
Yeah,
They were really bad, so they,
Oh,
they'll be pretty cool.
yeah, they're amazing.
You don't have little race cars in anymore.
No, we like those.
Those are historical.
So were the gym floors sanded and recoated or just recoated?
No, just recoated. We didn't have any that needed to be sanded and repainted this year.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Leroy. Thanks for your hard work. Next item is consent agenda. Do we have a motion to adopt the consent agenda items?
Motion to adopt the consent agenda items through 1 through 6 as listed on the agenda board packet. Authorize necessary action for these items and include the same in the minutes.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Motion is to adopt the consent, a motion and second to adopt the consent agenda items 1 through 6 is listed on the agenda and board packet. Authorize necessary action for these items and include the same in the minutes. Any public comment? Bring it back to the board. Any board comment?
Question about putting a policy in there, is that just because it's identical and we're updating it to have a
That
better
is
date?
exactly why. We have a lot of policies that have not been reviewed in a long time, and so when there are 0 changes, it's word for word. With TSBA's model policy is exactly the same, and we're going to put that consent agenda for you.
Okay,
So you'll see that more often this year
okay.
as we go forward.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Yes, Steve's on.
Oh, sorry, Steve. Steve?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah,
I vote aye.
okay, thank you. I didn't know you were on. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Moving on to prior business. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to adopt policy 8560, display of flags and banners on district property.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
There's a second. Motion and a second to adopt policy number 8560, display of flags and banners on district property. Is there public comment? Bring it back on public comment. Is there any board comment?
I think this is a solution looking for a problem, saying that what it really was in, just the state law to prevent pride flags from being flown on school buildings. The city state law says municipal flags can be. Missoula and Bozeman have both made them a municipal flag. So the workaround, the loopholes there. I just think this is putting ink on paper that's not gonna do anything other than maybe possibly cause problems in the future. I just think if there's any point to it.
Any other comment? Bring it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Motion passes 5-2. Moving on. Next item, consider bus route changes, updates for the 2025-2026 school year. Is there a motion?
I'll motion to approve the proposed 24 route changes.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the proposed 24 route changes. Scott?
Evening. Well, I believe last time I talked to you, we were missing about 380 kids or something like that. We made phone calls to those families, left messages, and now we're down to about 130 students that are still not registered, that were registered for bus last year. We're not getting any more drivers. The numbers are low, so we've deleted a route and renamed MS11 MS1. So we're down about 117 miles from last year. However, our 4-year-olds, when we get those registrations, we will put those miles back on. And we're working with 2 families in Bozeman still, so those miles might be coming back as well.
What happens if like mid-school year after the first week, these families rejoin?
You're gonna become a bus driver, right? And help me out.
I would trust me to drive with you.
It's a lot easier to drive a bus in winter. Well,
If I can do it, you can do it, Joanne.
I don't think that's,
so
well, I'm not sure I should be driving. Right? Agrees with me.
Bus, a car.
Yeah, apparently I'm good enough to drive everything else. A bus though, I'm not so sure.
You're big, they get out of your way.
and that's not true. They actually.
They get in your way. They wanna get in front of you.
Yes.
That's true.
Any-
And some concern in your
Yeah.
voice that we're gonna be driverless.
We always seem to make do, so we'll figure it out.
Any public comment? Bring it back to the board. Any board comment?
I have a comment, Jesse.
Yes?
I was just wondering, maybe this is more a DD, but I noticed the news article on the Bozeman school bus drivers and the amount they're paying them per hour now. Do we need to address that, or will we? Does that scare you as much as it scares me?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. But, you know, that's been true before and they've raised their rates and still couldn't get people either, so. But yeah, I mean, obviously, we've made adjustments, you know, during the school year before, if there are things, you know, inequities that are out there that are keeping us from moving forward, so. But that option is never off the table for any group.
Okay, thank you.
Steve, you're not wrong. What we pay for this area for the licensure required is significantly under market. I'll leave it to the budget committee to figure out how to raise that up, but,
I was going to leave it to the transportation committee.
fair enough.
It's coming your way, Walt. I just wanted to let you know.
Nice try.
Thanks.
Nice try.
I need more money.
It's not hard money to find, it's just hard to make equitable with the rest of the staff.
Mhm.
The money itself is a non-voted levy. So,
Okay,
but it's,
Yeah.
how do you pay a pair of that and then a bus driver 41?
well, you saw what they pay their paras as well, right?
SDD told me the other day, they pass levies. We need to pass levies.
Yeah. Facts. Absolutely. All right, any other comment? Bring it to a vote. All in favor of approving the proposed 24 route changes?
Alright,
I'll say.
Aye.
Yep, aye.
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 Control of it.
And all opposed? Okay, motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
All right, consider a resolution calling for a bond election for the 4th elementary school.
One motion to approve the resolution calling for a bond election for the 4th elementary school with a separate question regarding the bond amount for a full-size gym.
There's a motion, is there a second? Second. There's a motion and a second to approve the resolution calling for a bond election for the 4th elementary school with a separate question regarding the bond amount for a full-size gym. Is there any public comment or is there anything that we want to discuss before public? Steve, I'm asking you because you're the contact person on this.
I do have, Frank had asked for, so two things. First of all, we just got updated resolution language. And I'll explain that in a minute. Because of we were trying to figure out how to frame the question and how we framed it the last time, so I'll talk about that in a minute. I gave you copies of some papers. One is the elementary enrollment by building. You had that one last month too. That just shows that we don't have the capacity at this point without building that 4th elementary school to move 5th graders back into elementary. So when the community said move the 5th graders back into elementary school, we cannot do that with our current capacity. So there's numbers there to show that. I also drafted what it would look like, to staff the fourth elementary school and what positions would possibly be new positions versus ones we would pull from another school. So this is all a little bit of an estimate, right? We don't have a magic 8 ball to know what it's gonna look like in 3 years. But if we were to match, in a positive, supportive way with staff that we have in other buildings, we would potentially need to add 1.5 teachers, so that would be half of an academic support teacher, half of a behavior support teacher, and half of a librarian. And if you took kind of the average salary with benefit, 20% for benefits, that would be about $91,000. And then, it would need a full-time school secretary, that's 8 hours a day, a library aide for 2 hours a day, a health aide for 7 hours a day, an academic interventionist, so a para to support academics for 4 hours a day, and then a playground, lunchroom, crosswalk duties at 5 hours a day, which is half of what the other schools get. And then one custodial position. And that, based on kind of an average salary for those people plus 20% for benefits would be $132,400. Those are all rounded up. They're bigger numbers probably than what they would be. Only half of our staff take our benefits. But we'll go with the bigger number so that you have that in your head. So that comes out to about $225,000. Which, could be new money that we need. It could be adjusted money from, changing our staffing patterns in the way we currently staff. But I know kind of you would ask for some information on that, so. The third sheet is our new updated numbers based on, the, current tax values that just came out. And the overall ask dropped about $50 a year for a $600,000 house. From what we have been talking about before. So it's about $115.19 if everything were to pass and we issued the 20 million.
Maybe this would help understand why that happened.
You could do that, yeah.
He said that.
I was having a hard time figuring out how this new tax structure worked. I had an idea about it, but then I asked ChatGPT to help me. And it did. So now I have a formula for how it works compared to the old system. When we were taxed in the past, we were taxed at 1.35%. Versus now the first $400,000 of your house is taxed at 70.76%. And then from 400,000 to 1.5 million, it's taxed at 1.1%. So both of those numbers are less than the 1.35. So that's why when you look at your taxable value, it's gone down compared with your market value. Even if your market value went up, your taxable value probably went down. Also, they had an assessment freeze this year. And so they didn't do reassessments. They kept everybody at their previous assessment. So there wasn't an increase. What they said.
Unless
you challenged it.
Right. Could be.
So I thought there was a lot of increases.
That's right.
It's not true.
No,
Yeah,
that's not true.
No, ours went up, or the value, taxable value.
Taxable value went up, but
Yeah, the
like
taxes
my
are
taxable
down.
value went way down. My market value went up, but my taxable value went down.
That's right.
Yeah, the new Belgrade, so I don't know.
On the north side.
Yeah, so you can see for a $600,000 house with this example, under the old model from last time, it would be for the elementary general fund that I'm presenting tonight, which is 111.07 mils is what we're looking to adopt, it would be $899.67 under the old model. Under the new model, that drops down to $582 and 1 cent for the year. And so that's a savings of $317.66. And then if you add on the $400 you get back for a rebate, it's really only $182.
Then we did.
Yep, the one-time rebate. So for this year, for the low cost of, so, but that's how that is penciling out now.
So the 111 includes the gymnasium.
No, that's just the elementary general fund. Or all elementary budgeted funds that we'll adopt tonight. I didn't do it on the bond, I did it on our budget.
Okay, before we get too much into comments, let's open it up to public comments first, and then we can bring it to the board. Is there any public comment? Okay, now we can bring it back to the board. Does anybody have any comments that they'd like clarity on or questions?
I love it when we say a $317 savings, but it's just less taxes. It's not a savings. It's not quite as much spending. It's not even savings in my book. I'm sorry.
You gotta know drum math. When you go to TJ Maxx.
Yeah, I know the girl math.
It is a saving.
It never worked, but. On sales.
So are we going to be voting on whether or not we're gonna be moving forward?
Well, we have a motion on
That's
that.
right.
Yeah.
So, with the additional comment on the gym. Yes. What is everybody thinking as far as if we're gonna do this, do we do it with the gym? Do we do this? What are we thinking? Does anybody have any comments or questions?
So the way I understand this, you're gonna have two components. One, they're gonna vote on for the fourth elementary without the gym. And then they're gonna vote on the gym, which is another $5 million.
But it's contingent on the first one passing.
Right.
Right.
Because we're not gonna just build the gym.
Might get that full.
Seriously, that would pass.
Well, I thought at the meeting that we discussed that would be the best way to approach it, so that the public have the option.
That's the way I understood it was à la carte.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was, so I'll just tell you that, so the draft of the bond language that's in your board book, we just received the update for that. What we did was we took a look at the last time we put bond language like this in, right? It's weird to have that $20 million floating out there, because what do you do with that? So the last time we did it, we were asking for $60.5 million in addition to the 20 million. So there was a line in the bond question that said, in addition to the whatever you're paying on the 60, you're also gonna pay on that 20. But there wasn't a dollar amount there. And the dollar amount there compared to the $300 that people were gonna be paying on the, the big bond seemed less relevant. But here, the big dollar amount is on the 20 million. And so we went ahead and gave the total amounts, including that 20 million, and kind of rewrote it to say, you're gonna be paying for the 20 million and the 6.63. And the total for that is gonna be this. Because it seems disingenuous to say you're gonna be paying $15 a month. Well, really, there's another $84 a month on top of that. Right? Because this one was flip-flopped. So the draft that we have now makes that clear, the total dollar amounts, including the 20 million. And they're at that bottom line of, for a $600,000 house.
I don't have that sheet. Is that $84 a month?
81,
Year, sorry.
Oh,
Year.
year. It's a
Okay,
year.
I have my glasses. That's a lot higher. than
No, it's a
81
year.
Okay.
So for an estimated about $10 a month, less than we can get the 5th grade out of the middle school.
So I think that the positives of moving forward at this point are the voters ask us to build another school, and we're moving forward with asking them if this is how they want to do it. That, you know, we don't know what's gonna happen to that 20 million if we don't spend it. And our community also asked us to move fifth grade out of the middle school. And we know that for some people, that's a really big concern, and we can't address it unless we build more elementary space. So I think those are the reasons why we're here talking about this. I think that, you know, on the con side, we know that our taxpayers haven't seen their taxes go down yet. I mean, presumably they're gonna see a drop this year and it's gonna feel better and we're gonna feel some relief and recognize that, you know, there is a change and for most people it's gonna be positive. But that hasn't happened yet. And, you know, we will have 75 days to talk to our public about that.
You know, I can say that I've talked to a number of people that I thought would be kind of hesitant towards this. They were, once you explained to them, hey, look, you know, this will help us pull fifth grade out. And it'll give us room in all grade levels for the next foreseeable future to be able to absorb expansion without having to come and ask for a building, because all of a sudden we got another, you know, 200 kids that came in the last 3 years. And you explain that, you know, it's going up about 8% a year in terms of building costs, and that's why we got caught in this situation where we're asking for an extra 6. They're receptive to it, which, like I said, the people, most of them, I've had a couple that are, you know, naysaying, but most people are, oh, you know, that makes sense. And then, you know, especially when you say, hey, look, it's gonna be, you know, this will allow us to not have to build for foreseeable future.
The only thing I'd say to this is that, you know, during the last vote, it was 3-1 against. So we need to not go into this with the idea that it's you know, that's that close. We need to go in with the idea that we've got to really put a great story together and put the legwork in to communicate exactly what the value is. The values are, as mentioned before, but there's also the fact that this continues to be the fastest growing community in Montana, first of all. Second of all, you say the costs are only going to get higher. It's $1.5 million to $2 million a year for every delay. And then lastly, one of the things that I think is really important is that a good share of the costs that go into this project are the infrastructure, the costs that would be, if we were to expand this from 250 to 500, there would be a big savings on a cost per square foot basis, because all of the costs for the sewer, water, and a lot of the things related to parking and all of that have already been invested into this building. So we get a break on that. So there's an upside. So future spending would be a lot more economic for the community.
I also think it's important to note, you know, as with the last bond, there will be, you know, a lot of events that school board members would be really necessary to attend, and be there face forward with the information as much as you are able to attend any of those events. It's really important that if this does get voted through, to show that you're willing to put yourself right out there and talk to people about it as well. That's how other communities have gotten these things passed, is with the full united support of a board if we decide to move forward. The last bond, there was several events, and I know that people's schedules prevented them from participating in a lot of them, but it is important. Visibility of the board is very important on these kind of issues, so.
Well, I think the other thing we heard was it's the amount of traffic you get if you schedule something is one thing, but the thing that you need to do is during scheduled activities where the community is already being drawn in, we need to pay particular attention to that. It's a good time to have a dialogue.
All festival.
And then another thing is, I'd say, is that we need to have a good packet of information that we could
Yeah.
share directly with the people. I mean, I have no problems with losing a little shoe leather if I have a good packet to take. And walk around and talk to people about it and share at least some information with them. I think it does make an impression on people if you're willing to, you know, do a little bit of, face to face with them and let them have a go at you if they will, as long as we have the data in front of us. I think we can make a good case that this is right to do.
Yeah, and again, advertised meeting for it last time, and you had one family that lives across from the current school that came, and all the people that have a financial vested interest in it, and that was the extent of our participation. You know, if you don't go where the people go, it won't matter.
Remember, the people that are most likely to be on this are the people that have kids that are in elementary and or middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the kids, those are the families that we really need to connect with in some fashion. Because they have the numbers to help with the overall. And you know, one of the things here, the volume, the number of voters is not going to be high.
Never is.
So on this particular deal, so we need to make sure that we talk to the people that have got a vested interest
Yes.
in this activity and get as many of those people to the polls as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm optimistic that this actually is gonna be supported by the community. The big one that everybody I talk to is, hey, this will allow us to help fifth grade out of the middle school. And they know the middle school's got some challenges. Getting the fifth grade out of there, I've had multiple people say the fifth graders are just too young to be in the middle school. And this is the solution to the moving all the chess pieces, the final move.
Steve, did you have anything you wanted to comment?
Only that we have to try.
Yeah, agreed.
I wish we had the kids show up that we'd projected, but we need to keep moving forward.
Yeah, I'll be probably the sole dissenting voice here. Apologies. I think it's disingenuous to say that we asked the voters to build another school and they voted for it because we asked them to build another school on where we'd have, you know, several hundred more elementary kids right now, and we don't. So I've had trouble with that statement. And I also have trouble with our voters overwhelmingly supported moving kids fifth grade out. I think the people that had fourth graders going in and some fifth grade moms voted that way, and that pretty much comprised our numbers. We didn't go out and ask the community, would you like to move kindergarten or move fifth grade out of the school, and are you willing to pay an increase in your taxes to support that? We didn't ask that question. We asked a collective group of people that had kids in that school. At least that's the ones that responded.
I don't know, it was on the ballot. I voted on that.
Yeah, you voted on that when the escalation of kids was gonna be through the roof. That's why we were so easily swayed. I'm not, but I also, Rocky's point to me is really valid, that we're not gonna get a build it for this again. Price isn't gonna go down. And
The people I've talked to that surprised me are generally very fiscally conservative, almost, I hate to say anti-government, but very limited, small government. And they're the ones that are going, you know, in terms of school support, you say, hey, look, fifth grade's in the middle school. The long-term plan was to always pull them out, and you know, they go, oh, you know, that they need to be pulled out. Well, the way to do it is to build this. And you explain to them, look, the reason why we're in this situation now is because we didn't build in 2019. And they, you say, look, it's going up 8% per year, compounded, and it starts, and the wheels start turning, but they, and the ones that, you know, offline, I'll give you the names if you want them, but the people are, I don't wanna throw them on the bus, so we don't wanna record the conversation, but the people are very fiscally conservative tax wise, and, they're the ones that are supporting it, which, like I said, some of them, I had a couple of them that were aware of thought, but some of them really like, oh, you're buying this? Wow, I'm impressed.
So my general demographic would be probably not that fiscally conservative, but still fiscally conservative, but usually would vote yes on anything schools and anything fire and anything police, and their cost, whatever you talk about it. But
And then that's where the burden comes on us to educate, to sway that mentality and to show the benefit of why building now is better than trying to play catch up later.
I,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, a couple of things. One is, the big thing that's hurt us is the fact that the taxation on property has taken a significant increase. And I think, the perception in some fashion is that the schools get, you know, a equal portion of that increase. Which is, you know, if you look at what the numbers are, it's not, that's not a correct analysis. So I think part of this is kind of overcoming that perspective from the viewers. Yes, we understand it's gotten higher. I think a lot of people have said, we see all this information that there's more people, but why isn't our rates coming down? So for the first time since we have been talking about the rates going up, we actually see a decrease as the numbers of people coming in have actually started to change that a little bit for everybody that's in the area. So that's a positive thing. You know, one last thing that I'm gonna say, and this may not be comfortable. You know, we had the period 2020, we all know what happened. One of the things that we need to do as board and as an admin is to do the things that we need to make our school as attractive as possible for the kids, for the families that are in the area, so that we make sure that we get as many of those kids as we possibly can, given the fact that you know, I think we're making some good progress. And with curriculum in the elementaries, and that's starting to move its way up through the schools. I think we can start to see that we're gonna see some progress, and that with our support, board support, will start to give people the confidence that the Belgrade School District is the right place to put kids. And I think we have to just continue to work on that. It's a part of why I think we haven't seen the numbers. We have some positive things out there, you know, that we're doing. We just have to continue to work on that and make as much progress as we possibly can. In every avenue that we've got a challenge in front of us. We're talking about some of those tonight, but we have to be a better place to come so that we attract more people. So this makes more sense to all of us.
Steve, you have a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask another uncomfortable question, kind of backing off of what Rocky was saying. Part of me feels like we have to go forward with this because of all the effort and time that we put into this and resources. But when you listen to what Rocky said, and I kind of feel the same way, would it be better for us to wait for a couple of years until we've proven ourselves a superior value to every other district in the valley? Because right now the forces are kind of tilted against us. You know, in the state, I saw an article from a couple state representatives who are, you know, against public education. If we know this is going to fail, do we sit back and get our ducks in a row a little bit better and try again in a couple of years. Just saying.
I think what Rocky was saying, and maybe I misunderstood, but I thought Rocky said that we should go forward with this because it would make us more attractive. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, I think this is, I'm not saying not go forward. What I'm saying is, we have Frank brings up a good point. And that point is that our numbers haven't increased. And we do see an increase, all around us, we see more buildings. We
Yep.
see more residents, we don't see an increase. We have to ask ourselves the hard question of what do we need to do as a school, to make sure that eventually our numbers start to show, the kids start to show up at the front door. And I think that's what I'm saying. It's not a matter of not doing it, although that might be a point made. I think the problems that I see with not doing it is, if we don't do it for 2 years, then we'll be looking at something around $3 or $4 million difference in price. And for me, that's not gonna make this any more popular. We may not make it, but I think it's a good thing to be persistent and continue to tell the story. And even if we don't make it, we can come back in 2 years and then maybe we have some of the parts and pieces in place, although the price will likely be a bit hard.
I think it's also important to keep in mind, you know.
Okay.
The community has repeatedly come forward and said they're frustrated with being reactive instead of proactive, which is why we went out originally for the bigger one. Now we're coming back with this. We listened to them, we assessed that. We've come back with the second option. I think it's important that we're listening to the community about the 5th grade issues. We know that there's issues at the middle school. I think this does show that we have been listening to the community of trying to provide a solution to that. We're all taxpayers too. We know that it's gonna hit us as well. I don't think anybody up here is taking any of this lightly. But I think Rocky nailed it with, we have to be more attractive. There's gonna be charter schools coming into our state. There's gonna be so many other alternatives that if we aren't really making sure that we're doing what we can to make our district the best that it can be, then we are gonna fall behind on the times, and then it's gonna be really hard to catch up. Cause those other schools, those charter schools and those private schools, they have the funding to pop up. We have to ask, so just keep that in mind too. Steve?
Yeah, I didn't mean to put words in your mouth, Rocky, but it's something to think about. People are anti-tax, so if you know it's gonna fail, does it make sense to wait another year? Just saying.
But do we know it's gonna fail? We haven't even tried to put any effort into it yet.
Yeah, but you don't want to be doing this every year either. Then people will start to tune you out.
Dee Dee, maybe you have an answer. What is the lifespan of that $20 million approval?
Nobody knows.
It has never happened before, as far as we can tell in Montana, so we're not sure.
I guess what I wonder is if we start punting on this a few more years, does that put us in jeopardy of, okay, we go past the school based on it, and then somebody throws a lawsuit up saying, hey, you didn't do this in a quote unquote timely fashion, so the 20 million's not there, even though the other bond passed?
Yeah. We do run that risk, we just don't know.
Ultimately, I think our job as a school board for Belgrade schools is to make Belgrade schools the most attractive schools out there, in this valley. And I think that, I can make a lot of arguments. I mean, I can make arguments both ways, but sitting in this position here, I think that we have to try. I think that I think the community is starting to soften on their resistance to things. If we explain that their taxes are actually going to be reduced, I think it's a lot of education. I think it's gonna take some work, I'm not scared to wear, I talk to 3,000 people a week. Or touch them and see them, and you know, it's amazing how many people that, you know, don't even realize them until I talk to them, they're like, oh, you're that guy that drives the trash truck on the school board. And if just, you know, every person, everywhere we go, if we sell this and explain it and show how it's gonna benefit the community, I really, you know, and I can't believe I'm arguing in favor of spending money. But I really think that we can make this happen. And, you know, the worst we can do, right, you know, what we're doing is we're putting it out to the community and saying, hey, do you want us to do this? And if they tell us no, they tell us no. But at this point, I think we need to give them the option. We need to let them vote, you know, they've got ballots and come November, and, you know, I think we need to give them the option. And if we're willing to work, and I'm willing to work, I've already talked to some media people that I'm friends with, and they've agreed to help, you know, push this a little bit. And I'm optimistic, but we've got to go forward with it as far as I'm concerned.
Any other comments? Should we bring it to a vote?
You're the chair.
Well, she's got, sorry. I need the,
So I would ask that the vote reflect that you're adopting the, revised. Carrie, is that?
So do we need to amend the motion? Is that what you're?
yeah, what,
Carrie, do you want them to amend it?
we need to amend the motion.
Because they're not adopting the one that's in the board book, they're adopting the revised one, as we just saw.
Well, the person who first made the motion and then the person who seconded it agree with it, then it can be amended to say revised. We're good.
I'm good with adopting the revised.
Yes. I know, got two different things.
The revised is just recalculated with the new numbers.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I thought there was an additional.
No, it's just with the new information from the county, from the state.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just-
no, that's good.
Basically, all it is this here with more updated.
And that it includes the total dollar amount with the plan and so we are very clear with our voters what that is. There's no shipping 20 million.
okay.
I see Steve's having internet issues and he's trying to hop back on.
Now we're both there, you can go see what's happening.
Don't let him get away without having to throw his.
It won't work.
Considering as large as this is, do we want to do a roll call vote?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Just regular.
Come on, Steve.
He was on for a second, then he went away. Knowledge is great when it works. Everyone just being on the phone.
We'll just call him, put him on speaker.
I don't think we're gonna be a 4-3 vote or anything. So we go
Right. All in favor to approve the resolution calling for a bond election revised. Resolution calling for a bond election for the 4th elementary school with a separate question regarding the bond amount for a full-size gym. Say aye. Aye. All opposed,
I
same sign. Motion passes. What's the number? 5-1. Okay. Is there, moving on to review and consider the fiscal year 25 trustee financial summary for the elementary and high school. Is there a motion?
A motion to approve the FY 25 trustees financial summary for the elementary district and high school district as presented.
Is there a second? There's the motion and a second to approve the fiscal year 25 trustees financial summary for the elementary districts and high school district as presented. Dee Dee, Carrie?
What was the second on that?
Lila.
Okay.
You want to present on this
You
one?
guys have any questions? There's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
This is our annual report. It just breaks down how we spent our money. There's lots of things that go into it that they take from it on whether we made maintenance of effort for special ed. There's new, US Census Bureau information in there for detailed expenditures where they want to know how much you spent on all teacher salaries, on CTE teacher salaries. There's all that kind of stuff. But basically this report's, my nemesis this week. And
Reconcile.
yeah, we're good on, I will tell you, the capital assets that are in there have not been adjusted yet. They'll get adjusted before I submit it, but everything else is
Good.
Mhm.
Got all those pennies figured out that you're struggling with already.
It's funny, I was laughing because it's like, this is off by 4 cents, and you're like, really?
Come on.
They're 4 pennies.
I know.
Before we get in the weeds, anything else that you want to talk about before we'll open it up to public comment?
No, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's a lot of information there. But, we were able to transfer, funds into the 82 fund. If you pull up the balance sheet, which is one of the first pages in there, it will show you what, was transferred in. Should be Fund 82.
It's line 82 or?
No, it's Fund 82, which is your. Oh, yeah. So you can see that we did, transfer in from the, Ridgeview transferred in some money, Story Creek transferred in some money, and then, the curriculum was the one that you guys, approved at the beginning of last fiscal year. And then we were able to move some money for the, into the sub fund for, the tripper activity buses, so.
There will be a quiz on this later, just so you guys know, the new board members.
Well, what are you gonna do if I fail then?
Up front, right here, it's all numbers. Taught history.
We'll open it up to public comment. Is there any public comment? Saying none, bring it back to the board. Any additional board questions?
One question I have is, how does this compare to last year?
They have the year comparison there on a lot of the funds that'll show you what our expenditures were last year compared to this year. And, it depends on where you are in the budget on how it compares. Some expenditures are higher, some are lower. I noticed a lot of the teaching ones, were similar. They weren't like extremely higher or lower. They're staying in line, but that's a lot of work that we've done with, staffing in all of our schools too, that I think makes a difference, with that.
What about janitorial services, since we had to do so many outside contracts for
There
that?
was some of that in there for sure.
We were higher there this year, right?
Yeah, but we also didn't have people, so, I mean, your people costs are down and then your contractor costs are up,
Mhm.
so. Which unfortunately, contractors are usually more expensive than
Yeah.
people for the
Mhm.
most part.
Yeah.
The area that we get hit hard for contractors is special ed. Because you're contracting out OT, PT,
Oh, yeah.
speech, all those kind of things right now, because there's just no one to hire here, so.
Any other questions? We'll bring it to a vote. All in favor of approving the FY 25 trustees financial summary for the elementary district and high school district as presented, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next item, review and consider FY 26 budgets, elementary and high school. Is there a motion?
A motion to adopt the FY 26 budgets for the elementary and high school districts as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Well, or Rocky got that one?
I don't think we care.
All right. There's a motion and a second to adopt the FY 26 budgets for the elementary and high school districts as presented. Carrie, would you like to speak on any of this as well, please?
This one, I put a graph in there that shows the taxable value history, and our taxable value went down about $8 million.
Oh, because of the
So,
switch.
8. I went down quite a bit.
Because of the land.
No, not the land swap, the taxable value in the district, you know how we were talking about.
Oh, yes.
Taxable
Yes,
value,
that's right.
it went down
Yeah.
because of the property tax changes. So, you can see from the graph, this is the first time since 2017 where we've seen a dip in taxable value. We've been steadily climbing, and then we took that big jump, I think it was 2000, FY 23, we took, and 24, we took that huge jump, and then it kind of leveled out. And then now it's taken a dive, which is not a bad thing for our taxpayers. We get the same amount of money regardless of what the taxable value is, because that's how our budgets work for our general funds. And so the taxable value doesn't make any difference to us. All it does is change the number of mills we have to ask for. So the lower the tax value, the more mills you ask for.
Basically, we're asking for the same raw dollars, just how that calculates to a mill.
Yeah. Right, right.
Okay.
And so the state sets our, both of our general fund budgets, which are 01s on there, 101 and 201. They set the limits on those budgets. Those budgets, for us are at the maximum without a vote because our mill levy failed this year. And so we didn't get any additional, budget authority above the maximum without a vote. And so, we're still seeing an increase of almost $1 million between the two of those. But we did do significant teacher raises, custodial raises, paras. I mean, we did. So we are eating up that difference, this year, but I think it's good. I think if, you want to invest that money that you're getting extra into that kind of stuff. So, one area that I think people might be surprised on is the, tuition. You know, how you have open enrollment now and people can go other places. Well, when they go other places, we have to pay for that. Our district does, and we got a bill we've been getting bills, and ours, bill for elementary school is it's over 200,000 that we have to pay out to other schools. That's Bozeman, Montfort, Manhattan, Gallatin Gateway, there's quite a few. And then we have, it's about 30,000 that's at the high school level, that's going out. Coming in, you can see that on your general fund budget. Did I not attach the budgets?
No,
The
not on
budget
this.
documents?
Not on this one,
Oh,
just a
sorry.
comparison.
Yeah.
600 and some thousand, 600.
Yeah, there's
That's for all students, that's not for,
Oh,
shoot.
I was like, well, we are.
Yeah, we're killing it. Wish.
Well, now, we're putting that out. Are we receiving anything from tuition from
yeah,
students
that's what
coming
I'm
in?
gonna,
Yeah, she's trying.
I'm gonna try to pull that up. Yeah, definitely not as much as we're putting out.
Well, let's fix that.
We're gonna do that. We're working on that. So for elementary, we have to, we're gonna bring in $32,833.32.
For high school. And that's on, page 6 of the budget, and I'll get that sent to you guys. I'm sorry I didn't attach it. I thought I did. I must not have hit save. I'm good at that today. For high school. It's $12,271.28.
Say the elementary, you,
32,000.
okay,
$32,833.
so we're about 200,000 to the wrong, on the wrong side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, that is increasing our tuition levy substantially.
Yep.
Obviously, I still think we were able to stay within some, mills. We had some, I did lower our budget in, transportation on both the high school and the elementary a little bit, and in retirement, because we've had a lot that we've had at the end of the year. And so there's no reason to keep the budget high if we're not using it, and it's been consistent. And I think that we can do that, and then we were able to reappropriate some. When we reappropriate, that means that you, put it back in so that it's not taxed. You basically take that budget authority from the previous year and the cash that was earned through those tax levies and apply it towards the next school year, so then you're not taxing to get up to your budget where you were. You can see that it's in column F on those comparison sheets. That's your reappropriations. And so you can see where, we've reappropriated. So like transportation, we were able to transfer some out to the interlocal agreement and reappropriate 300,000 in the elementary. So I lowered our, levy and our budget there because I don't feel that we need it. I mean, we're down routes, we're down drivers, things like that, and we need to account for that and not, do that. So I did lower those, and then our, retirement has been the same amount pretty much since I got here, because I haven't needed to raise it because it was already there, so I lowered that as well this year to try to offset some of those increases in mills in other areas. And we reappropriated over to, retirement, $479,000, so I think, reduced it, 200,000, so. I'm trying to offset some of those other, increases in the tuition fund with that and still keep our mills somewhat steady.
Thanks for your hard work. Where did you do public comment on this one? Okay. No, I don't think I did. Thank you for the information. We'll bring it open to public comment. Is there any public comment? No public comment at this time. Bring it back to the board. Any final questions?
I have a question about the departure of that elementary in particular. Have we done a survey on what's going on or what the specific causes of those are?
Of the kids going out there and
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought Fran was reaching
Yeah.
out to families to find out what, but have we gotten any feedback on
We
that?
did get some feedback, but some of the kids hadn't even come here, right? Like some of the elementary kids just never started school here. They went somewhere else.
So on the forms that we get from the state, we don't get an address and a phone number and things like that. So when we can, we've reached out. It's just not 100%, and we can't require them to give the information if
Sure.
we don't want to, but, a lot of it, especially with the little kids, is like the parents work in Manhattan or in Bozeman, and so childcare is easier to have close to your work. It means you're paying less money, so that's something with elementary. We've heard, I want a smaller school district. So Manhattan, some families are choosing to go there because it feels like a smaller environment. And again, I think that goes back to things like we have one of the largest middle schools in the state, right? So that's kind of the bulk of what we're hearing about. Occasionally we'll hear about sports or other activities. Sometimes it's a split family, something, you know, and
Yeah.
there are people that just have circumstances.
I just, for me, it's just like, can we come up with things that we can work on? What can we point ourselves at?
Right.
That's, I think, the goal I think we should have in our head is.
Right.
What are our main goals? I mean, I think we know internally some of the things that we could do better, but what are some of the things that we could, focus on?
There's been nothing that's come to our attention that we don't already have things in the works to try to
Yeah.
remediate.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Frank, you got anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, does Steve have anything? Carrie?
No comment.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I don't see anything.
Okay, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor to adopt the FY 26 budgets for the elementary and high school districts as presented, say aye. Aye. Aye.
Steve
All
says
opposed?
aye.
Okay, thank you. All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Review and consider 25-26 student handbook. Is there a motion?
Move to approve the 2025-26 student parent handbook.
Is there a second?
A second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the 2025-26 student parent handbook. Trey was gonna talk on this. Dee, do you want to?
Yeah, so we had brought it to the group before, and then there were some things that we needed to fix in there, and also we wanted to have some more discussion around 3 areas: cell phones, attendance, and dress code. So we did meet and have some discussions and revise those sections, and cleaned up the other parts that needed to be cleaned up. So this was with those changes in there.
And typos were also.
And typos are. Yes.
Is there any public comment? No public comment, bringing it back to the board. Is there any questions or comment concerns?
I think some of this revision is good and I can hardly wait to see what happens when it's implemented.
I do think, in particular, the cell phone is the one that'll, we just have to make sure, a lot of these things, I think, even the dress code, it's gonna be hard the first few months of the process to maintain. We're gonna have a challenge, not only with the kids, but with, and, staff and, even admin. So it's gonna be it'll be something that'll be, a bit of a challenge to get it where we want it to be. Hopefully it'll be as positive as possible.
I think it's gonna come down to accountability. And not just on staff, but the students owning up for accountability as well. And shifting that narrative. Anything else? Okay, bring it to a vote. All in favor to approve the 2025-26 student parent handbook? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Steve says aye.
All opposed, any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Consider revisions to policy number 5255, disciplinary action. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the revisions of policy number 5255, disciplinary act.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve revisions to policy number 5255, disciplinary action. Dee Dee?
So the next series of agenda items are policy revisions that came from the legislative session. So these all are connected somehow to a law that was passed. This one, and they're all the recommended changes from MTSBA. So there are minor updates to the policy, to MTSBA's model policy, and in addition, this policy now includes language to comply with House Bill 400 regarding the use of names and pronouns, which states that no employee, regardless of the scope of the employee's official duties, may be subjected to an adverse employment action for declining to A, identify the employee's pronouns while acting within the scope of employment, or B, address a person by using a name other than the person's legal name or a derivative of the person's legal name, or by using a pronoun or a title that is inconsistent with the person's sex. So this is now state law. And so MTSBA helps craft policies that will follow state law. And so those are the changes in this policy. The 5,000s are employee things, the 3,000s are student things, right? So this one is related to employees because it's a one in the 5,000s.
We'll open it up to public comment. Is there any public comment? No public comment, bringing it back to the board. Any board comment?
So this means we can't force them to put pronouns. Can we have them not put pronouns and just eliminate the problem on?
So we just can't, we can't discipline an employee for using a person's legal name. Or pronouns that are associated with their sex. So if an employee says, I'm not gonna use the name that they've asked to use, I'm gonna use their legal name, then we can't discipline the employee.
Even if they're doing it as, you know, bullying manner.
With state law. Which how this is written also goes with like nicknames and anything too.
So I
Like,
mean,
it's
it's
anything that somebody doesn't
Yeah.
want to be called. That they can, that somebody can call them their legal name and not be disciplined for that.
I have a quick question, or maybe something I
Sure.
should point out. It appears the attachment that's referenced in this thing is different. It's for employee discipline versus student.
I'm looking at it, hold on. No, 5255 is an employee one.
Yeah, we talked about employee on this one.
Yes.
Which attachment are you looking at?
Well, all I can see is 5255. It could
Yeah.
just be my computer.
It's, you poor thing. No, there's 5255.
Oh, I see the
disciplinary.
draft. I see the draft. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the draft.
I
is-
apologize. Yeah, gotcha. My bad.
Any other comment? Bring it to a vote. All in favor of approving revisions to policy number 5255 disciplinary action, say aye.
Right.
All opposed? Aye. Motion passes 6-1. Oh, Steve?
I vote aye.
Okay, 6-1. Sorry, I just.
You're fine. I was muted.
Consider revisions to notice form 5430 NF1 volunteer agreement form. Is there a motion?
Motion to adopt revisions to notice form 5430-NF, parentheses 1, volunteer agreement form.
Is there a second? A second. There's this motion and a second to adopt revisions to notice form 5430 NF1 volunteer agreement form. Dee Dee?
So the policy that was in the consent agenda was the volunteer policy. That wording hasn't changed in many years, but the volunteer agreement form, that language has changed. And so our last one, I think, was redone in 2015. It contains a lot of verbiage that we have in our volunteer handbook, but doesn't really belong in a formal volunteer agreement form. So what we have in there is striking what was in our old form and moving forward with the MTSBA's recommended language in the volunteer agreement form. We have other documents that talk about, you need to show up on time, you need to, be friendly to the kids, you need to, those other kind of things, but,
Is this the exact form?
the
draft.
one that's in your.
The draft
The
is that?
draft has MTSBA's at the top and then this the one down below in red that struck out is
The
our.
reason why I'm asking is this the exact forms, or we could shorten it up so that the volunteer signature's not on the second.
Oh,
page.
we'll figure
Okay,
out.
you'll
a form.
change the format.
Yeah, we'll put it on a different document.
Okay.
Is there any public comment? No public comment, bring it back to the board. Any questions?
There were things that existed in the old one that were there because they're important, do they exist in the volunteer handbook? For
Yeah.
example, administer medicines.
Yeah, we'll match those up to make sure that anything that was critical that was in the old one, we're still referring back to in the other documents.
You've got one, the next one, couple down is administering medicines.
Yeah, those up on the top.
There's several.
Okay.
No, it's a different policy than, yeah.
Whatever happened to the fingerprinting that we were gonna do?
Yeah, we fingerprint everybody.
Do it in-house, right?
Even
Mhm.
in-house.
In-house now.
We have a fancy setup that we're required to have now, so. Or have a beginning.
Disney.
Any other questions? Steve, any questions?
None, thank you.
We'll bring it to a vote. All in favor of adopting revisions to notice form 5430 NF1 volunteer agreement form, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Consider adopting policy number 2165, early targeted intervention. Is there a motion?
I'll move to adopt policy number 2165, early targeted intervention.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to adopt policy number 2165, early targeted intervention. Dee Dee?
So this will be a new policy, that's why we're adopting, not revising. We actually started our early targeted intervention program last year. We somehow missed adopting the policy. Go figure. So, which is fine because they revised the policy because they changed it, but, you know, they did some updates to that in this legislative session to make it not just about literacy, it's now about literacy and math. They opened up the screening time so we can screen kids year round rather than just for 3 months in the summer. So they made some changes to it. So we're adopting this one that incorporates all of those. MTSBA sent it out again with all those revisions. So what you have in front of you is MTSBA's version of it after it was revised after this legislative session. So
We'll open it up for public comment. Any public comment? No public comment. Bring it back to the board. Any questions, comments? Steve?
None here.
We get reimbursed by the state for this
we do.
in part or in full.
Oh,
The full A and B, plus some if they do the Jumpstart program too.
So we get a quarter A and B for kids in the summer program, which is the Jumpstart program. And then we get a full A and B for our 4-year-olds who are participating in school year.
And are they participating in the home-based program already?
We haven't had a lot of interest in the home-based program. They put it out there and offered it. It's a zero cost to us, so we just keep putting it out there. We haven't had a lot of interest. But I left it in the policy because we want to be able to.
move to a vote. All in favor to adopt policy number 2165, early targeted intervention, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Consider revisions to policy number 3612, school provided access to electronic information services, equipment, and networks. Is there a motion?
Move to approve revisions to policy 3612, school provided access to electronic information, service, equipment, and networks.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve revisions to policy number 3612, school provided access to electronic information services, equipment, and networks. Edie?
Okay, so this is a 3,000, so that means it's about students, right? The proposed revisions are based on the MTSBA model policy. Our policy hadn't been updated in a while, and of course, the technology. There's some changes to our, we had to update language in our policy. It also includes a statement on student responsible use of artificial intelligence. That basically says students have to use AI responsibly for educational purposes. They can't use it for anything dishonest. And so it just describes that. I think it's important as we start to dip our toes into the world of AI that we make sure we have this in our policy.
We'll open it up for public comment. Any public comment? No public comment, bring it back to the board. Any comments, questions?
Is there stuff added in here or is it just a bunch of stuff stricken out?
No, it's just updating it for stuff that's,
I guess,
and then added for the AI.
So the part at the top is the new part. Our policy was so old. There was a little bit of overlap, but it was easier just to.
adopt a new.
Adopt.
Okay, that makes, I'm sitting here trying to figure out what's been added in and stricken out, but that makes more sense, okay.
The majority of it was needed to be revised because it had been a while.
Right.
2012 was the last time, and stuff's changed since then, so.
A couple of things.
Yeah, a couple things changed.
Steve, any questions?
I'm using the AI companion tonight on the Zoom plugin. It's amazing.
Responsibly.
I'm going to give you a full report next week.
Thank you.
We'll bring it to a vote. All in favor to approve revisions to policy number 3612, school provided access to electronic information services, equipment and networks, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion I didn't vote. Steve?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 7-0. Consider revisions to policy number 3410, student health.
I'll move to adopt revisions to policy number 3410, student health.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
There's a motion and a second to adopt revisions to policy number 3410, student health. Dee Dee?
The updates to this policy, so there's two health policies, right? There's this one, the one below it is medication, so it's two different things. This one, the updates in this policy are designed to comply with House Bill 599, which requires that districts provide parents with notice of the right to opt out of any physical or mental health screenings and to be notified of the results of such screenings. In our district, we're not currently doing any mental health screenings. But we do physical screenings that, vision and hearing screenings typically. So parents do, so we will notify parents that they have the right to opt out of that. If they choose not to, and that we'll give them results, which we did anyway. It also requires the district to provide notice at the beginning of the year of anything we anticipate doing during the year. So, which I think we've also been doing, notifying parents. There will be vision hearing screenings at this point.
We're gonna open it up for public comment. Any public comment? No public comment, bringing it back to the board. Any board comment or questions? Steve?
I have none, thank you.
Okay, bring it to a vote. All in favor to adopt revisions to policy number 3410, student health, say aye.
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 Steve says aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Consider revisions to policy number 3416, administering medicines to students. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve revisions to policy number 3416, administering medicines to students.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
There's a motion and a second to approve revisions to policy number 3416, administering medicines to students. Dee Dee.
The proposed revisions by MTSBA provide updated language that matches our current medicine and medicine administration. So in the past, districts have been able to stock EpiPens. Now there is something called a nasal version of an EpiPen called a Neffy. Those have been approved for school districts to stock. Also, albuterol has been approved as an emergency, medication for asthma, for us to stop that. And, Narcan or, what do they call it? Whatever Narcan is. No, so for all of those things, we're required to have procedures in place. Where is it stored? Who gets trained? How do they train other people? How do we, what's our response when we use it? Meaning you have to call 911. So there are procedures that we have to put in place before we can actually say we have these things and they're out there. Obviously, we've had EpiPens for years. And so we're working on the procedures and the training for the other pieces.
We'll open it up for public comment. Any public comment? No public comment, bringing it back to the board. Any board comments or questions?
Question on self-administration of other medication. Bullet one, a physician, dentist, or other licensed healthcare provider provides a written order for self-administration of said medication. Is that otherwise known as a prescription?
Yes.
Yeah. Seems like
Remember that attorneys wrote this.
so my child, 3 out of the 3 years of high school, and it's been a pain in the ass, so thank you for making me not go get a note each time my kid goes on a trip that we can indeed.
Take his own medicine.
No, have somebody else administer
Oh.
fast. So this is much better.
Good.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. We
There is.
ready to handle and store everything appropriately, have secure locations and
Our
environmental.
nurses are all over it. They got trained on the Narcan, trained the trainer, I think Monday, no, was it today?
They're doing.
Next month,
It was,
I think it was last week.
it was last week.
Yeah. And there's support from the state to do this, so there's a lot of support to make all this
Is
happen.
all our staff able to do Narcan?
So we will decide who we're gonna train,
Okay.
right? And so that's part of creating the policy, creating that practice of who gets trained, how many people get trained in each building, what makes sense. You know, EpiPens became so commonplace and, important that we trained a lot of people on EpiPens. So as it moves forward, I could see that.
Are we gonna have a policy, are we gonna have the ability, I mean, will this just be in the building available? Or are we gonna have it where if they go out of, leave the building, go on trips, are we gonna have it on the buses?
So right now, we send EpiPens on field trips.
Okay,
Um,
with this, would we have a bag with the other?
well, I don't know, we'll figure that out. And we're looking at other districts and what their procedures are and how that, so, yeah, we'll look at that. But then there has to be somebody who's trained to administer it on that trip, so. Yeah.
Steve, any questions? And this is either on mute or it's not.
He's still muted.
Okay. We'll bring it to a vote. All in favor to approve revisions to policy number 3416, administering medicines to students, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Consider 2025 MTSBA membership electronic poll. Is there a motion?
I'll move for the Belgrade School Board of Trustees to vote approved for all items presented on the ballot.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second for the Belgrade School Board of Trustees to vote approves for all items presented on the ballot. Dee Dee, Carrie?
So, MTSBA is one of the organizations that provides you with valuable things like model policies. And they also serve as an advocacy group for trustees, for things that are going on in the legislature, things that might be going on nationwide. And so every year they put out this is our plan
for next year. These are our kind of big picture ideas of where we believe education in Montana is headed and what we need to be advocating for. And so this is just saying, yes, we acknowledge that this is, you know, what the work that they're gonna be doing on behalf of trustees in Montana.
We'll open it up for public comment. Any public comment? No public comment. Bring it back to the board. Any board questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a question about these, posts. Do they have a record or a history on their portion or how their advocacy has improved the education process in Montana?
Yeah.
Because it seems to me that I'd like to understand a little bit more about what value they bring. I hear a lot of noise. I get a lot of emails.
Yes.
Mhm.
They'll tell you what they do.
That's gonna say.
I know this guy named Lance Melton.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
kind of like the guy with the big thumb.
yeah.
I was only up there once and I figured that out right away.
Well, you're welcome to come to MCEL and you can have
Yeah, in October.
a couple of days with them.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure. Well, I'm just curious. I'm just wanting to understand
I think,
what
yeah.
their value is to us.
yeah, I mean, I think they're one of the advocacy groups that's working on making sure that public education stays strong, that we are able to do what the Constitution says we're supposed to be doing. So they're out there fighting for that. I think they, in terms of, they're in a little bit of a hard spot because they're advocating for a tiny C school as well as the double A's, right? And there are really different things that need to happen between those two groups to be successful.
Right.
And so that's a really hard place to be. You know, they have 400 districts that they represent. 8 of them have 40% of the students and the rest of them don't. And so there are things that, you know, we look on as a double A and think, well, that doesn't make any sense. But it does when you're looking at the bigger picture. We're not always in sync with them, I would say, probably.
Yeah.
But overall, big picture, they do a lot of work and, you know, have had success in making sure that some things that could have been really damaging to public schools didn't happen. So I think from that perspective, you know, I would say we need to continue to be a part of MTSBA and continue to talk with them about what we need as a double A in order to succeed. So that our voice is heard.
Yeah, so this is just, as far as I can see, this is just straight legislative. I'm not seeing a specific set of results on Montana educational performance.
No, and I don't know if they can give that straight up because they're one of 5 organizations that were working together to advocate.
Okay.
So pulling what they did out of what those groups did together, I think would be hard to do. So.
What do we spend on them a year?
Like, I think the membership alone's like 14,000.
Oh, I thought it was 20.
Then you add in assembly and then you add policy.
Like Assembly is huge, or it has been really.
I guess what I'm asking is, are we getting the value out of it, 14,000? To just simply go through our policies and write these, if we were to hire an attorney independently, I don't think we could do it for 14 or 20. I don't think we could do it for 20,000 either way. So the value proposition there alone, to me, is, you know, this is just a better deal, because they're able to do it in mass.
Yeah,
We get that, we get some pro bono attorney support, which is nice. We don't have to call them big BF for everything. There's things that they handle. There's things that we don't want them to handle. We would rather have some BF out.
MTSBA also offers training for school board members, and if you have any questions or concerns, you're represented by MTSBA as a board member, so you can reach out to them when you want to ask something about, you know, in the way like our roles and responsibilities or anything like that, but the trainings that they offer as well.
And this is, you know, this is just part of their work, right? They're asking for approval to change their bylaws with some things and, you know, so this is some of just their, you'll see this annually on their agenda.
Annually, because nobody ever goes to their in-conference thing, they have to vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause they always have it.
Steve, any questions?
None here.
We'll bring it to a vote. All in favor for the Belgrade School Board of Trustees to vote approved for all items presented on the ballot, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-1.
Rocky is now playing the role of Mary Ellen.
Yeah.
That's a badge of honor.
Yeah, it
Can we just skip the next group?
I know. Declare trustee position vacant. Is there a motion?
I'll move to declare a vacant position on the Belgrade Board of Trustees.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Reluctantly, yes.
There's a motion and a second to declare a vacant position on the Belgrade Board of Trustees. Carrie? You're assigned to this one.
Why do we need a motion? She quit.
You guys have to declare it open.
Yeah.
Advertise until you declare it open.
Okay.
You don't get to approve me resigning.
But then, you declare it open and then hopefully you can find somebody between now and, what's your last day, the 28th?
Mhm.
The 28th. Gonna advertise or whatever and hopefully appoint someone, around that, right after that time, ideally, so that they can take over right away.
So you signed this
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah, from today, you have 60 days now, the clock is ticking to appoint somebody.
Well, that didn't start ticking until she left. Was her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
thought too.
declare it
So you have
open
until
after
the end of
that day, yes,
October.
you're right.
If you can't find anybody, just so you know, then the county superintendent can then
Yes.
appoint.
Yeah, they're, sure you can find.
So this appointee would assume your term
1 year.
when you're.
So-
Well, till the school year, yeah, then they would have to go, yeah, and they would have to
Run again.
run.
And then where are you at in the cycle?
This is, like, I only have 1 year left on
Okay,
this term.
so May would be up anyway.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep,
So in May, it would be a full 3-year term.
yes.
Okay.
We'll open it up for public comment. Any public comment?
Boo.
Duly noted. Yeah. I'm sorry, sir. Could you state your name? We'll bring it back to the board. Any comment, questions?
I will be said.
I just want to thank all of you. Like, it makes me emotional, so I'm not gonna say much, but it's bittersweet. And I love this district, so. I'm gonna be around just in a different capacity, and I just want to thank all of you for teaching me and helping me become a better person, a better community member, and, yeah. Thank you. That's it.
Well, the school district appreciates your hard work and dedication
Thank
and
you.
serving as vice chair and all the other leadership aspects you took on.
Thank you.
I
Alright,
just say good luck. Your endeavors, whatever they are.
thank you. Thank you.
Let us know whatever we can do to support you and anything.
Likewise. Likewise. All right, all in favor to declare a vacant position on the Belgrade Board of Trustees, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
We can
I don't think
Approve the plan for filing trustee vacancy. Is there a motion?
I'll move to allow letters of interest for the open trustee board position to be due when we're decided.
We'll just say blank.
Okay, you do blank, whereas letters of interest can be dropped off at the district office, faxed to the district office, email to board chair or mail to district office and set date and time for interviews.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to allow letters of interest for the open board position to be due blank where letters of interest can be dropped off the district office, faxed to district office, emailed to board chair or mailed to the district office, and set date and time for interviews TBD. Dee Gary?
Okay, so, in the past, this has been an occurrence, the board has chosen to just have people submit a letter of intent. You're welcome to do a resume, you're welcome to do whatever you want. In the past, it's just been a letter of intent, is there any? People okay with that? Okay, so we'll, with that, or a letter of interest, I guess is what we call it, and then. So. I guess we would propose that you advertise it for 2 full weeks. To make sure that anybody in the community who would like to submit their letter of interest has that opportunity. So that would be, if we started advertising tomorrow, Tuesday, August 12th. And went through till 4:30 PM, Tuesday, August 25th. 6th. Whatever that Tuesday is.
Interviews on the 27th, so I can be there.
And
Do we, actually, that's a, no question, do we run into trouble doing that where we're interviewing for a vacant position that isn't vacant?
well,
And our district superintendent, town superintendent, are they gonna?
I think as long as we point it after I'm
you
done.
can wait till the first week in September.
I'm just asking with that,
Yeah.
I can see
Yeah.
that.
The MTSBA, cause I asked them
Yeah, we
that,
asked them to.
and they said that we could, do everything now. So that it's declared vacant as of that date and you can prepare to appoint somebody so that you can do it as soon as you're done, so.
Okay, well, we're not getting in trouble.
We asked.
Yeah, I've never had anybody resign this far in advance. Didn't notice.
I believe in, giving people a heads up.
So.
Usually it's like tomorrow.
I'm done in a week. August 12th through August 26th gives a full 2 weeks plus a day. Does that work for everybody? And the day on August 26th. And then you can decide if you want to do the interviews that week or the following.
I won't be here for that. Well, that,
You're right.
huh?
You're right, you won't.
I won't.
What day are you proposing we're interviewing candidates?
I was gonna say the 2nd or the 4th. Just cause I have something for the 3rd, but I can change it, so you can do it the 3rd.
You know, maybe I would propose a little more accelerated schedule, have them do on the 22nd. Just because we could have, conduct the interviews and the work session possibly on the 25th. Is that too?
That's too much with the work session
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay. I guess I'm just trying to
Good try.
utilize
Good
that work
try.
session. Rather than pushing it on for,
I think
because
they're-
the second
Yeah, it's too.
Second is Labor Day, is the Tuesday after Labor Day, the 4th is the Thursday after Labor Day, that week's gonna be certifiably jacked up for everybody.
I'm gonna go off of Labor Day, but like that first week is school starting and stuff like that, that 20.
I think that's why.
I'm gone the week from 20.
Yeah.
Are you back, in September, obviously, Rocky?
Yeah,
After
I'll
Labor
be
Day?
back on 29.
Steve, do you have any preference?
He's not talking to us.
No.
I'm sorry, I was on mute again. I don't have a preference, no.
What about September 8th, was the next regular board meeting?
That's when you're gonna want to appoint them.
Yeah.
Board members.
Alright,
Second, third, and fourth.
2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Everybody have a opinion?
I think that's fair.
okay, wondering,
This really makes me sound old, I have cataract surgery on the 3rd.
So maybe the second.
Second.
Yeah, there we go. Go with the second.
Tuesday the second?
If it works for other people.
At what time?
Do 6.
Tuesday the second, 6 o'clock. Keep it 6 o'clock. We keep
Okay.
it the same.
Okay. Now that that's been clarified, is there any public comment? No public comment, bringing it back to the board. Any additional questions, comments, concerns?
If you only get one person, are you still interviewing?
Yeah, we have to vote on it. You can, we might decide.
Yeah, because you still have, you have until the end of October, yeah. Exactly, you can open it back up and see if there's other people that would, maybe I'll put my name back in.
You said so much already, okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Do we have a vote?
nope, we're gonna do that now. All in favor to allow letters of interest for the open board position to be due August 26th
At 4:30.
at 4:30 PM, whereas letters of interest can be dropped off at the district office, faxed to district office, emailed to board chair, or mailed to district office, and set date and time for interviews on September 2nd at 6 PM. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries 7-0.
I'm not sure if we know that was Steve or not.
He didn't say Steve.
Yep, Steve said aye.
Good job, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. See you later, Steve.
Wait a minute, are you selling power windows?
I used to be a certified installer.
Oh, listen, I need windows.